Hello, my name is Masha and welcome to another Not With Me video. If this is your first time joining us for a Not With Me video, then let me quickly explain what this is. First off, this is not a tutorial, this is simply a video in which I am making a bracelet. I recorded the entire process from start to finish, and then I sped it up so that you can see it in a time lapse. So you get to see the entire creation of this bracelet in around about, 10 minutes? When in reality, this specific bracelet actually didn't take me that long. It took me about 3.5 hours. Usually I do time lapses for longer videos, for longer bracelets, so it usually takes me about like 5 to 6 hours, but this one was rather quick. I think I pretty much did this in like one sitting, potentially two. I recorded this a few weeks ago, so I actually don't remember very well. But yeah, because this is a shorter bracelet as well, I'm still putting it into the same sort of 10-minute range, so you're actually getting to see more of the process on the individual rows. Typically my Not With Me videos are a lot faster than this one is here, so you get to see a little bit more of the details. But yeah, as you can see, I am making a beautiful little strawberry design, which I'm very happy about. This one, I think, if I remember correctly, I found the pattern for this one while I was doing the Rating Your To-Dos video, where I looked at all of you guys' to-dos on Bracelet Book, and I found this one and I decided I wanted to make it. I always wanted to make one of these sort of repeating patterns where you've got the design, like specifically alpha patterns, where you've got the design repeating and then it kind of sort of splits in half and then repeats again. Oh, you could have seen me fiddling there. I'll explain that later. Actually, I think I'm going to fiddle again in a bit. I'll explain what I did there later. But yeah, so I really wanted to make one of these repeating designs, but I couldn't choose one that I liked. I just couldn't get myself to do it for some reason. Like, I kept putting it off. Those were popular, like, I think they started being popular like 2 years ago, so I'm very late to the trend. But I finally did it, and my excuse for this is that I'm actually going to see my sister again. In fact, I'm recording this video, what time is it right now? This voiceover, it is currently 1:30 in the morning. I am leaving in half an hour to the airport to go visit my sister, and I'm gonna give this bracelet to her. She doesn't know about that yet, but I'm gonna gift this bracelet to her because her daughter, she recently had a baby, is named somewhat similarly to a strawberry in Russian, if that makes sense. Anyway, so this is kind of to represent her daughter, so when I saw that pattern I was like, I have to make this is so cute. So yeah, that might be a little bit as well why I'm a little bit more slow and a little bit more tired in this Not With Me video. Usually I feel like I'm much more energetic and I talk a little faster, but it is 1:30 in the morning, and one of the consequences of actually having a sleeping routine, which is something that I have now, wow, what a concept. You might remember, if you've been following for a while, that like back when I was doing YouTube full-time and I didn't really have a full-time job or anything, or even back when I was doing YouTube and going to university, I did not have a sleeping schedule and I would always record videos during the night. But yeah, one of the things that now, with having a sleeping schedule, I get really tired and I actually get sleepy. That was not something that I felt before. So yeah, that's kind of funny and ironic. But yeah, I'm leaving in just a bit, so I thought I'd record a little voiceover. I'm actually really excited to go again. I just was there recently. I started my new job, about a month and a half ago, and I went to visit my sister and to meet my niece in between those jobs. So I was only there about a month and a half ago, but the baby's all grown now, you know, she's twice her age since I last saw her. Even more so, actually. She was about a month when I saw her, now she's nearly 3. So she's all big and she's giggling now, and I'm very excited to visit. So we have a long bank holiday weekend. We've got a 4-day weekend in the UK this week, so I was able to book a couple of extra days and go for a full week with only using 3 days off for holiday, which I think is luxurious. Yeah, actually, I don't know how many of you noticed. If you did, maybe people who are very experienced in making these sort of repeating patterns might have already noticed, but I forgot to to repeat the pattern properly in this bracelet, which is kind of funny. I thought I was doing something really smart, you know? I thought, why would I scroll down in the pattern every time I sort of finish a section if I could just, you know, look at the top? It's a repeating pattern. There's no reason to scroll down. I could just repeat the same section that I already made, you know? It's a repeating pattern. It would make sense in theory. Except in reality, the pattern was actually supposed to have, like, every other strawberry was supposed to be flipped. So one was supposed to be like pointing to the left, then the other one was supposed to be pointing to the right. Same with the ones that are like split in half. They're supposed to be pointing in different directions, every other one. And I only realized that when I was like 3 or 4 strawberries in. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is exactly what this was supposed to look like. But I decided to go with it. And to be fair, it turned out pretty well anyway, so I don't really mind. And I skipped a section at the beginning where I was fiddling around with the rows with my ruler. First of all, I highly recommend a ruler if you don't already use one. Making a alpha bracelet on a flat surface and using a ruler to make sure that your knots are going in the correct rows and they're actually going horizontally in the way that you want them, and like pushing them up or down, or just making sure that each row is actually horizontal the way that you want it, is a very good tip. And specifically against a flat surface, because like if they're hanging about in the air, I reckon it would be a little bit more challenging. I mean, you could probably still do it, but pushing them against a flat surface I find is very useful. And that doesn't have to be like against the table or anything. I've seen a lot of people sort of like use a clipboard or even just a book and a clip to like put a bracelet on a book. So yeah, I highly recommend that. But what I was doing at the beginning there, I somehow taped my strings down at an angle, and so every time I was like pulling on my strings, the bracelet was being pulled down on one side but not on the other, and so the rows didn't end up being horizontal. They were kind of skewed, and it was really annoying because like the left side was being pulled down but then the right side wasn't, and so I kept trying to fix it by like pushing up the rows and fiddling with the rows before I realized that the entire reason this is happening is because I attached my strings wrong. So I ended up pausing the video and like re-taping my strings, so now I don't have that problem in this video, as you can see. But yeah, so make sure you guys, I guess you tape your strings down correctly. That would be a good shout, a good tip for you there. Make sure you tape your strings down correctly. But yeah, I actually had a lot of fun making this bracelet as well. I was listening to an audiobook. What was I listening to on this one? I think I was listening to The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura someone. I don't remember the author. Laura someone. I'm trying to get more into sort of mystery books and thriller books. I read the entirety of the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson, which is a sort of mystery series about, it's a young adult, about a girl who goes to this really fancy school, this like private school, where a murder happened. Wait, not a murder. It was not a murder. It was a kidnapping. A kidnapping happened like several years ago, something like 40 years ago, if I remember correctly. And it's this very famous case that is cold and nobody's been able to solve it. And she comes to the school and she gathers all the evidence and she kind of tries to solve it. And well, spoiler alert, she does. That's kind of the whole point of the book, whole point of the series, because it happens over a few books. Every book has like a pretty satisfying conclusion to it, but the overarching story gets concluded after 3 books, and then the 4th book is the same characters but in a slightly different setting with this new mystery. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was really fun, and I'm trying to get into more mystery and sort of thriller books, and I picked that one up based off like one recommendation. I can't say I particularly enjoyed it though, to be honest. Like I'm talking about the Last Thing He Told Me. That book, the premise is there's this woman and her husband just disappears one day, and he leaves her a note saying protect her, meaning his daughter, who is her stepdaughter, and she kind of goes on a quest to figure out like what is going on, and finds out a bunch of stuff about his life before he met her and all of that. It was a fun ride, don't get me wrong. Like I enjoyed it in the process, but it was very much kind of like like, it was alright. I can't say that I was particularly thrilled or enchanted by it, but it was okay. It was a fun time. So yeah, I'm still trying to find kind of my place in that genre. Anyway, I realise that not everyone cares about books, but I really enjoy reading, so I like to share my passions with you guys. But yeah, I'm really happy that I made this bracelet. I finally can say that I actually participated in this wonderful trend of repeating patterns. And I'm actually kind of inspired to try another one, potentially. So yeah, well, this is how the bracelet turned out. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm gifting this to my sister. I'm now leaving in 20 minutes as I'm recording this. And I've already packed it with me, so that's all good, and I can give it to her. And I remember that in the last video, I teased that the next video is going to be this amazing announcement, and I realised that the next video isn't that, because it's this. And I do apologise for that, but I promise that the amazing and super exciting announcement that I keep telling you about is actually coming, and it will in fact be the next video. I was supposed to film it before I left to go visit my sister, but things came up and I wasn't able to film it in time, so instead I'm going to film it first thing when I come back, so it will definitely be the next video, and I promise you it is a very exciting announcement and you won't want to miss it, so stay tuned. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave a comment. I like chatting with you guys on these Not With Me videos. I feel like they're just a way for us to chill and connect. So definitely leave a comment if you feel like it. But yeah, and a huge shout out to my patrons and especially my top supporters. Thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. If you also want to become a patron, the link to that is in the description. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's bit of a more chill Not With Me video, and I will see you in my next video, which will be that announcement. I promise this time. See ya. Bye.